the ride I didn't order that waited outside. At 12:41 a.m., my phone announced a car I hadn't summoned. Your driver is arriving in 2 minutes. Black Camry, plate ending 412. The map showed a blue dot idling in front of our building, pulsing like a question I hadn't asked. Under the driver's name, a single note glowed in gray: pickup, side entrance. I lay on the couch with a book I was pretending to read and watched the dot inch forward, then stop. Beside the map was a name I didn't recognize: Rowan. The account was mine. The card on file was mine. The street under the dot was mine. The ride was not. In the bedroom, Myra slept with a hand under her cheek, the pose of a person who expects to be forgiven by morning. We argued without a topic at dinner, forks music, whether the basil belonged in the sauce or on it. It was one of those fights that only happens in houses with love, no villain, just friction. We did the thing we do when we run out of civilized language: separate rooms, shared sulk. At 12:44, the phone vibrated again. Your driver is waiting. I got up, moved the blind with 2 fingers, and saw the black Camry idling by the hydrant. The driver leaned forward into his phone's glow and then looked up at our windows the way people look for lights they're not sure they want to see. I went downstairs barefoot because the elevator has seen worse. The driver rolled down the window when he saw me. "For Rowan?" he asked. "Not tonight," I said. "Are you sure you're at the right address?" He held up his screen, and there we were. My street, my building, my name: E. Bloom, under account holder. Under rider, Rowan. Under notes: side entrance, please don't ring. "Cancel," I said. "No show." He shrugged the way professionals do when the world refuses to cooperate, and tapped. "You'll still get the fee," he warned. "App's a priest that takes tithe either way." He drove off. I stared at the hydrant until it felt like an accomplice. Back upstairs, I scrolled through the ride history and found nothing new. The ghost ride hadn't posted. I tapped into settings and discovered something I should have remembered: family profiles, enabled. Myra and I had added the feature months ago to keep my late meetings from stranding her at groceries with melting butter. Under users was Myra's email, and another profile name I didn't expect: Rowan Temporary. It had my card attached and permissions to book without notifications. It had been added 3 weeks ago. By whom, the app didn't say. Apps rarely like to identify their mischievous gods. At 12:57, I switched the phone to airplane mode and lay there listening to the building settle. Outside, the street bleated and sighed. In the bedroom, Myra turned over and said my name into her pillow the way a person says a password in the wrong room. I moved to the doorway and watched her sleep. Forgiveness, if you need a definition, looks like that: a person asleep in the house you're still choosing. I didn't wake her. I watched the ceiling until it stopped auditioning for thunder. Morning made everything look like administration. I am a systems analyst. People pay me to name where their stories leak. I toggled off family profiles, changed the card, set the rule: all rides require approval. It felt like putting a gate on a yard that wasn't fenced yesterday. It felt both safe and small. Myra padded in with the sleep still on her face and a book of freshman essays under her arm. She teaches teenagers how to make sentences that can hold water. She knows where to put the hinge so a line can bend without breaking. She saw my phone on the table between us and the app open, and my mouth doing that tight thing it does when it refuses to lie. "What does the city want from us now?" she asked, pouring coffee. "A car came for me at 12:44, I said. "For Rowan. Note said side entrance on our account." The angle of her shoulders changed by a degree only long study reveals. It wasn't guilt, it was posture. "It shouldn't have," she said. Rowan is a committee person. He thinks calendar invites our romance. Why is he on our profile? I added him to get home from a donor dinner because my phone died, she said, not doing the little panic flail. Honest people skip that. I should have removed him. I didn't. He must have thought that he could order a car to our door at midnight, I said, evenly, the way a person cuts a thing to see what it's made of. She set the coffee down with care. I'll fix it, she said, and I'll fix the part of me that thought borrowing our life would be cheaper than admitting I needed help. I can fix the setting, I said. The other part requires more than a toggle. Her mouth did the curve that means, agreed. At lunch, I walked to Loom because that's where all my better questions like to stretch. The air smelled like oranges and ambition. Anna stood behind the counter with her sleeves rolled, the scar on her wrist a pale-heeled moon. She handed me water without being asked. You have the posture of a man whose app thinks it's a plot device, she said. It sent a car to my house for a man who is not me, I said. Rowan, she said, and I didn't ask how she knew. The city is small and names have a way of announcing themselves. He tried the same trick with a poet, she added. It didn't go well for him. I'm trying to decide whether to make a scene, I admitted. Scenes are efficient, she said, but intimacy is thorough. Mara's in the corner, she likes thorough. Mara sat under the window with her red scarf folded into compliance and a notebook flattened by a rubber band. She looked up the way a violin looks up, calm, tuned, unafraid of work. Spectacle or intimacy? She asked before I opened my mouth. I know the party line, I said, dropping into the chair. Intimacy. Good, she said. Spectacle is candy. Intimacy is bread. I told her about the Camry and the note and the profile that called itself temporary but dated itself for 3 weeks. She listened the way a witness listens to testimony, no interrupting, no pity. When I finished, she said, make the room you want the truth in. Don't interrogate someone in the hallway and expect poetry. Put the object on the table, point to it, and ask for one sentence. Not a closing argument. A sentence you can live with. What if the sentence isn't kind? I asked. Then you decide whether kindness is the thing you needed, she said. It might be accuracy instead. At home at 6, I set my phone on the table, open to the profile list. Me, Myra, and the temporary. Myra took off her scarf and hung it on the coat rack like a flag of truce. She sat. The dog lay down with the weary intimacy of a creature who has watched us for years and believes we're practicing. I'm not going to rehearse the wrong part, she said, not waiting for me to ask. Rowan thinks everyone needs tending. He imagines himself as a gardener. He uses other people's lives as trellises. He asked to meet twice. I met him once. It was at a bar where all the plants are healthy and the floor is concrete so you can hear your shoes make decisions. He ordered a car to our door, I said. He ordered a car to a door he thought he owned, she corrected, and there it was, the sentence I could live with. He wants to be inevitable. I prefer deliberate. I exhaled in the slow, slightly ridiculous way that makes radiators sympathetic. Do you want me to text him? I asked. Or do you want to use words he'll have to remember? He doesn't respect text, she said. Text lets him perform contrition and then hide in a thread. He respects being ignored. Let's ignore him. And let's change the settings so ignorance doesn't cost us money. We did the administrative theater, removed profiles, changed the card, turned off every toggle that invited the world to believe we were a household that shared with strangers. We did not take a victory lap. We made dinner. She sat on the counter while I stirred a sauce we oversalted, and together we saved it, which is a metaphor so obvious even the ceiling took notes. After, we went to the bedroom, not like a solution but like a vote. She stood at the edge of the bed and lifted my shirt in the slow, deliberate way we practice when the day has tried to colonize us. The fabric rasped, and the sound felt like evidence of being alive. Eroticism, when it's ours, lives in precision. The place under her jaw where certainty meets softness. The exact weight of her hand guiding mine lower with an impatient press. The quiet words that are really switches. Here, more, slower, yes. We laughed once when a sleeve refused ceremony, and she freed me with her teeth. Funnier than the internet would permit. Heat arrived like tide you can set your watch by. We finished together because attention is a form of skill, and we use it. After, breath slowed, window cracked, the city promising someone else a plot, Myra said into my shoulder. I wanted him to think I needed rescue. It makes certain men behave. It makes them leave faster, too. Do you want to be rescued? I asked. I want to be invited, she said, and kept, and argued with by someone who knows where the salt is. Okay, I said. Rules then tools, not bars. We wrote them with a cheap pen on the back of a museum envelope because paper makes things brave. Rule 1. No temporary profiles. If a stranger needs our card, we name them to each other before the app does. Rule 2. If a ride comes to our door that neither of us ordered, we treat it like a fire alarm. Lights on, door open, we speak. Rule 3. Novelty is a chore. On my weeks, I pick the wrong hour for the right thing. On yours, you move the furniture until the room learns us again. Rule 4. When we miss the wrong attention, we say it out loud and then do 3 ridiculous, ordinary things to flush it out. Peel oranges over the sink. Listen to one song to the end. Kiss in a doorway. 2 nights later, a ride tried again, this time at 1:17. The app pinged and we looked at each other, and the dog lifted his head as if to file a report. I hit cancel, then report, then typed without trying to be elegant. Remove this rider from this account, permanently. A minute later, an email arrived full of contrition and coupons. I deleted it. Elegance is finite. I save mine for us. I saw Rowan near the river a week after that. He wore navy and carried a tote with a museum's logo like a credential. He clocked me, offered the professional smile of someone who believes in grudges as networking. Evening, he said, as if we were peers in a club founded on our own appetites. You sent a car to my door, I said. I sent a convenience to a situation, he said. You're welcome. Don't do it again, I said, and kept walking. He doesn't like seeing someone's back. There are people who believe a good sentence should break a man. Sometimes the best sentence is your spine turning away. At home, Myra had moved the couch 2 inches and turned the lamp so the room forgot our angles and had to relearn them. Field trip, she said. Kitchen floor. Dress code. Honesty. We ate ramen we were too old for, and she read me a paragraph from a book about attention being a kind of love. I keep wanting to be seen without work, she said. That's the truth I don't like to hear from my own mouth. I keep wanting to be right instead of generous, I admitted. I choose generous until it makes me stupid. Then I choose right until it makes me cold. We are very modern, she said, mouth tilted and leaned in. Weeks learned us again. The app behaved. The couch became migratory. The dog learned the ritual of oranges at midnight. Loom kept smelling like citrus and mercy. Anna taught me the names of 3 plants I had been walking past for years. Mara sent a text one evening that consisted of a photograph of a marquee. Tonight, the ethics of arrival. Underneath, typed, you're doing fine. Sometimes at 12:41 or 1:17 or 2:02, the phone decides to practice being threatening. A ping, a ghost, an algorithm that thinks it knows our threshold. We answer together now, not with theater, with light. We say yes when it's us, no when it's not, and then we say each other's names to make the room relearn our vocabulary. Some nights she says mine as if it's new. Some nights I say hers like a refrain. The ceiling listens. The street keeps pretending to be a novel. The app updates and promises it will sin less. We believe it the way you believe weather, pragmatically, with a jacket by the door. We are not pure. We are answerable and occasionally ridiculous and in our best moments precise. The ride that isn't for us still arrives sometimes in stories that want to try us. We tell the driver the truth. Wrong house. We go back upstairs. We practice opening and closing the door from both sides, hands on the same handle, not because the world can't be trusted, but because we can. And that is the point of all of this. Not to decline every stranger, but to recognize each other, again and again, when the car is waiting and the street is watching and the night is certain we will fail. We don't. Or if we do, we stand at the window and wave at our own foolishness until it leaves. Then we turn off the light and find the bed together, talking softly, in a language we invented by staying.